So we're Super Guy Studios.
What's up?
I'm Max.
I'm Colin.
I'm...
John Doe.
Oh, okay, DJ.
PJ.
ZJ.
Vladimir Lestrade.
So anyways, for the Christmas time, we wanted to pick out one of our favorite horror movies. Black Christmas.
Or Black Xmas if you're from the mid-2000s, because poor literacy is cool.
But before we talk about that one, I think we want to talk about the original, though.
Absolutely.
The one that started it.
Definitely.
So in your guys' opinion, what do you think of Black Christmas?
You know, this year actually was the first year I ever saw the original Black Christmas.
All right.
Really?
Yeah, it's... I mean, you guys know we're all horror fans. That surprisingly was a movie I put off for a while. I mean, I did see the remake a couple years after it came out. And, you know, had my opinions on that. We'll get to that. But, yeah, I mean, I just never went back to the original because at the time I was just like, you know, the whole idea of a horror movie on Christmas was just kind of like a little dumb and cheesy for me.
Yeah.
Then, you know, you'd have me borrow it and I watch it and I was really blown away with how intricate of a slasher film it was. Like, it was a really good whodunit, like, not really gory, actually not very gory at all, just smart, like, slasher flick.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
One thing, when I watched it for the first time, I thought it was like borderline like art house film with all the camera tricks used and everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's very unique looking horror movie, especially for the 70s when there wasn't really, like, maybe besides The Exorcist around that time and maybe in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, it's a really unique looking horror film.
Yeah.
Plus, I think using the Innocence of Christmas is a great juxtaposition behind these like grisly murders. They're not gory, you know, probably for censorship reasons, which is probably why they're so much scarier in the original as opposed to the remake. And they work well with that Christmas background.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It's definitely like one of the first slashers.
Yeah.
Like, and like this is
debatable.
Yeah, like, well, this is pre-Halloween, and
Yeah.
Halloween gets praised as the first slasher.
Yeah,
when,
that's like the revival. Like the
It wasn't more or less a revival; it was more like a popularization of the slasher genre and all.
Especially like the independent slasher genre. Because
Yes.
I know a lot of them back in like the 70s and 80s were independent.
This was independent.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's like before.
Funny you mentioned. Sorry to interrupt.
No, sorry.
Funny you mentioned Halloween. John Carpenter was working with Bob Clark, who also directed A Christmas Story. So, two of the most beloved Christmas movies out there.
That is actually kind of cool. Just a quick note. It's like when I found out about this movie, I found out about it through A Christmas Story, which of course, you know, gets played every single day. But like when they mentioned, like when I looked it up, I looked up like Bob Clark and what he did before, and I just saw Black Christmas. And at first, I thought it was the remake because all I knew of that at the time. But then, like, yeah, when I finally saw Black Christmas, and I'm just kind of like amazed because I had like enjoyed it so much at the end. I'm just like, you know, that's kind of funny. Just like the guy who made A Christmas Story makes like a really good Christmas movie, but then also the darkest Christmas movie.
See,
Yes.
I actually didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah.
It reminds me about how George Miller, Mad Max and everything, he made all those movies. He went on to make Babe. And
Yeah.
like...
Everyone has their start in horror.
Yeah.
Look at Matthew McConaughey.
Oh god! Don't get that started. Don't get that.
Bad taste in my mouth.
What, Matthew McConaughey or his start?
Both.
Both.
Okay.
I'm on both. But no.
Started in horror genre. It was a good time.
No.
I don't know. I used to do horror movies.
Horror movies before they were mainstream. All right. I'm gonna stab you in the throat.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, this was like pre-Halloween, and you know, obviously, it's still debated what is the first slasher because you know, obviously, before this there was Psycho, and then
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this I think came out, I believe, like less than a year apart from each other.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, but it's like at least less than 6 months.
Yeah. What I always love about it, and you mentioned it before, it's a classic whodunit, but it's a whodunit where you don't know who the killer is.
Yeah.
Like, and I really love that aspect because before I saw this movie, I saw like a bunch of other like bad slashers and just in that range.
Well, bad and slasher kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
For a lot of them, to be fair.
But there are those good slashers, and there are those clever slashers, and this is definitely one of them because it's like, again, it's not giving anything away, but it's like you don't really know exactly who the killer is. Like they leave it such a mystery to where, you're left off, and that's kind of what I think one of the things that makes it really creepy because like it leaves off this mysterious presence. It's kind of like the original Halloween where it's like Michael Myers in the first one is just this mysterious presence of evil, where in this one it's sort of the same thing, but it's a guy or a girl. You have no clue. You have no clue.
And plus, they use both they use a female and a male voice,
right?
Like when they do the phone calls and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's like one thing to just make it like. It's what makes it a known slasher, and it's really deserves that.
It's a really slow build up too.
Definitely,
the movie's about. Yeah. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, and it feels like 2.5. Because of how slow, deliberately paced it is,
slow,
but it works for it in a way. I mean, I know that slasher movies and it being like slowly paced might not work for some people's taste, but this is different because it's such an atmospheric movie. Like you want to take in all the atmosphere.
That's what I like personally. That movies like this, some, and I mean a lot of new horror is just garbage, jump scares and stuff. But then you get movies like Sinister, you get movies like It Follows, and you get movies like Babadook, and even Good Night Mommy, that just have that slow pace, and like they don't feel like you're watching just like tits and blood. You're watching these really smart psychological breakdowns. You're watching like all this like slow paced and like good dialogue and really strong story building, and then it all just hits you at the end. And this movie is a very good like start point. Like movies like this and movies like Halloween, a very good start point for that. And it's refreshing to see this being these techniques used again.
Now, as important as the movie is, I feel like it's a far more important movie than it is a legitimately good movie.
I mean,
and that a lot of that has to do with the pacing, in my opinion, and a lot of that.
It doesn't seem too slow to me. Like, I mean,
it seemed really slow rewatching it.
It is made in the 70s, so but I know that can't be that always can't be an excuse. Yeah. So it's like, it has a slow build up, but I think the characters and story are a bit interesting enough to where
Billy is just not that interesting. It's just some psycho. Bob Clark actually did the voice of Billy on the phone because no one else in the cast wanted to say those things.
See,
which is funny.
I think the way I look at Billy is I look at him kind of like I look at the intro of the original Halloween, where the intro of the Halloween, they just kind of throw you in there and you don't know anything. And the fact that like you don't know anything about this dude, but for some reason he lives in a woman's sorority house and like is killing people. That's just terrifying.
It is.
Because
it is, but you don't
to anyone, and I think that's
really
interesting.
It's not like Michael Myers, where like that final shot of him as a child, that blank stare of like I just killed someone.
You never get the closure.
You never get that, and like only closure is don't tell anyone, Agnes.
Yeah,
and again, it's not a bad movie, but like it's. I just believe it's a far more significant film than it is.
Yeah,
like
I think.
But I mean, there is a lot to like about it.
Yeah, I think.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this like the other day, where it's as like as slasher movies go, it is definitely one of those ones to check out. It's definitely
absolutely
one of the best slashers. And it's kind of like I think people know the remake more, which is sad, but like because like I think this one
that typically is how it happens.
Yeah, because I know I remember in high school I just mentioned Halloween and people would talk about the Rob Zombie version, which I I don't hate Zombie. You know, I respect him, but it's like, you know, I don't want people to keep saying the remake. I want them to check out the original.
No, definitely.
And then check out the remake.
So we definitely have to have a talk on that.
Oh my god! Right there's gonna be like
that's gonna be like an hour-long video.
No, that's gonna be a 10-part miniseries.
Yeah,
It's like,
on just Rob Zombie's Halloween.
there's gonna be a movie, like 3 movies the length of Rob Zombie's.
Yeah.
No, the length of his entire filmography.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna have like a really weird music video in the middle
And
of
it's
it.
probably gonna curse just as much as all those movies.
There's gonna be a goat with a naked woman on it who's
for
covered
no
in
reason.
blood.
And one of us is definitely gonna be dressed up as Bela Lugosi.
Oh yeah, we'll get we'll get Sherry Moon in here.
Yeah.
I will. I'm not saying we should totally do that, but I totally think we should take a stake in Werewolf Woman of the SS.
Oh, okay.
And do our own
Yeah.
version of that.
Yeah, we do.
Which he needs to make that movie because
Yeah.
the song he wrote for Hellbilly Deluxe 2 is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I digress. Completely off topic.
Yeah, sorry. What I do think about it though, like its popularity, like, you know, like something like when Christmas time comes around, the one horror movie that gets mentioned, I think, you know, if I had to pick one, it's probably like Silent Night, but it's like Silent Night and this.
Silent Night and Gremlins too. Like,
Yeah.
Gremlins comes up
Gremlins
a
is a
lot
good one.
as a Christmas horror movie.
Yeah.
Like more often than I think Black Christmas or even Silent Night, Deadly Night, unless
We should do Gremlins.
yeah, like,
But it's like
one.
those get mentioned, and it's not even like Gremlins gets everyone, whereas Silent
Gremlins is
Night,
awesome.
yeah. But like with Silent Night and Black Christmas, it's only for horror fans. Like most horror fans
Yes.
are the ones that watch it.
And most horror fans are going to look at Silent Night and Deadly Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night, ironically. Like, again, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But more horror fans look at Black Christmas as like a standard, and that's really cool.
And that's where it's like the audience for it is fine. Like, because I keep thinking like, well, what if this because you know, obviously, we say people should see it, but we don't like. What if too many people sees it? And you know how Christmas Story kind of became that. Where Christmas Story.
This is not a movie that plays like every year for a week straight, 24-hour marathon.
Yeah, like
on
Christmas
TNT.
Yeah, like Christmas Story. You know, I love Christmas Story, but it's like obviously
any movie that gets overexposed on any network is going to be like that.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember when FX used to run Dodgeball every day.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is though, however, a movie I feel like is definitely like one of those Christmas tradition movies that you're just like, I feel like watching a good horror movie. You know, it's Christmas time. Pop in original Black Christmas.
Very much is like for a lot of people the quintessential Christmas horror movie.
Yeah. I mean,
but like a legitimately like enjoyable one, like one that you can. If you feel satisfied for watching it, you know, like I just had a bunch of laughs because some dude just a Santa fucking stabbed a guy with an icicle.
And I think on top of that, this is a movie that like, although it is a Christmas movie, you can watch this anytime. Like,
you absolutely could.
I can see myself like sitting there in the summer, being like, I want to pop in a good horror movie. Let's watch Black Christmas.
I think James Rolfe reviewed it in like the middle of July.
I don't know. If
Wow.
I'm not sure. But so I mean, to go along with that,
yeah. But yeah, it's like as Halloween is something that most horror fans watch on Halloween, Black Christmas is to Halloween than what Christmas. Yeah, you know, basically, horror fans watch Black Christmas on Christmas and during the Christmas time because it's that essential movie to watch, like Halloween is for Halloween.
And I think that's interesting because like, and we've talked about it before, where like the movie like Halloween is technically a Halloween movie, but it doesn't feel like it.
No, like because it's very subtle. Like both movies are very subtle in their holiday presence.
And I think that's really interesting because
it's not over the top.
Yeah,
it's not loud. It's not over the top. Yeah.
And I like that because those are movies that can easily become traditions for the season that they take.
Probably
place
like the most like Christmassy part of it is just the opening shots in Black Christmas when you see the house all decorated.
Oh yeah, those are awesome shots.
And the drunk Santa.
Oh God!
You can't forget drunk Santa.
Bad Santa before Bad Santa was Bad Santa.
Yeah.
Also, on a side note, I think it's weird that John Saxon, who fresh off Enter the Dragon, was in this movie.
Yeah.
And then
was
Elm Street.
Yeah, that he was Nancy Thompson's dad.
Honestly, you can put John Saxon in any movie and I'll probably watch it. That
John
dude
Saxon's
has
awesome.
the prettiest woman eyes like all time. Like, he honestly does. Like, you could just put John Saxton's eyes up on the screen for 2.5 hours. I've watched the hell out of that, man.
Oh
like, I have no shame in saying that man has the prettiest eyes in show business.
Dude's like 70. He still has those beautiful.
Oh God,
eyes.
he honestly like that's the only part of his body that didn't age. Like, it's just his eyes.
Never watched Nightmare
It's
on
funny
Elm
because like
Street.
they're this.
Yeah, it's just like
This
he has,
movie has kind of like a unique cast. Like Margot Kidder's in it.
Yeah,
one of
Margot-
her first roles. Oh god, her name escapes me. But she's actually in the remake too. She was part of the Second City Television.
I think it's like Claire or something.
Andrea something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So they only had a side credit for John Saxton's eyes. It's
Just like
The only other side credit for a
John's-
body part
yeah.
in movie history, like the first,
the second being Labyrinth.
this Labyrinth,
David
David Bowie's, David Bowie's hung like a mastodon schlong.
Oh my God. It's
uh,
just like everything's seen right there out in the open. Just
There's a video game called Omicron: The Nomad Soul where he's in the game and he starts like dry humping the camera in the music video. It's like, dude, what the like we get it. You're fucking pumped. Like,
they're actually. I do remember.
David Bowie's penis aside.
I do,
which is a great conversation starter at any dinner party.
it's like one of the things where like someone comes into the conversation, they're just like, "Look, David Bowie's penis aside.
Yeah.
How about them holidays?" You know?
Yeah, like Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Well,
You got a promotion this year.
I know. Well, you mentioned before about Bob Clark knew John Carpenter.
Yeah, Bob Clark knew John Carpenter. Bob Clark mentioned to John Carpenter that his idea for a sequel was Billy was going to was caught and sent to a mental institution, breaks out of it around Halloween season. Now, Bob Clark didn't end up going ahead with that, but John Carpenter said, "Can I please use that? I have an idea."
Yeah.
So in essence, he made Halloween.
In a way.
Interesting.
I mean, Bob Clark said at a convention, I don't know if
has
that's
changed.
My
Yeah,
opinion has changed greatly on this film now.
I'm surprised you guys didn't know that.
I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's real. It is like a cool idea.
He insists. Bob Clark insists, and I'm sure John Carpenter in no way. I'm sure John Carpenter in his had every right not to rip it off. And I mean, Halloween is 100% like
Yeah, like,
different.
it's not like, I mean,
It's not just like, hey, I'm going to take that idea and then credit myself. You know?
like for that matter, like not many people know that fact. You know, like that's just something like horror fans know, and even then, that's like just a cool idea because it's like, you know, like I just said, where it's like, you know, as Halloween is to Halloween, as Black Christmas is a Christmas time. Thinking of it in that way, where it's like, boy, these two are so essential to the holidays.
And
That one of them is kind of like a sequel,
and technically one man is responsible for both.
right? You know,
In a weird kind of way.
you know, Bob Clark's Halloween.
Yeah.
The what ifs, you know, it's like
You know, Bob Clark's Easter.
There you go.
he really should.
escapes the asylum again and turns into the Easter Bunny.
He should have done holidays. That would have been his like gold mine.
Oh my
He
God!
wouldn't have made a Christmas story though. So
I will say that it would be interesting to see an Easter horror movie.
They have.
Oh
although
man,
there's just way too many of them.
Why do I
They're all
not
bad.
know anything
They're all
about
bad.
these?
Yeah,
That's- How are you gonna make a good Easter horror movie, dude? Like,
Yeah, good point.
There's a killer rat movie. It's called Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
oh
I
God.
was gonna say not in the left.
I mean,
That's
dude, there has to be like an Easter movie out there where like the Easter Bunny just goes like creepily like has an axe. Like any filmmaker that sees this, please
it looks
feel
like
free to take
it should
this.
look like Robbie
Like,
the Rabbit.
No, just
from
like
Silent Hill.
no, like a perfectly like happy little like mall Easter Bunny. Imagine with like just bloodstained clothing with an axe, like slapping the axe on his hand, chasing down some little kid, and then really like monodically and like softly like reciting Little Bunny Foo Foo. Like God, I'm not even kidding. I would shit my pants in the theater. Like Jesus Christ.
Get Paul Bettany to do his voice. It's terrifying.
Ugh.
Oh God.
As long as it's not Alan Rickman, his voice sounds terrible. It's too creepy.
No, Crispin Glover. Crispin Glover would
Oh God, that one gave me chills.
unsettling. Just put Crispin Glover in any movie, and it's just very, very unsettling. Like
Just literally give Crispin Glover bunny ears.
he's one of the few actors that you're gonna ask him to act normal in a movie, and he will not act normal. at all. Like George McFly is the most normal that man has ever been.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Again, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit too slow for some people, but it is a very significant and important horror movie, and any horror fan who hasn't seen it, like, absolutely is missing out if they haven't watched it yet. Just the camera work alone is worth watching for it, and
there's actually some creepy. Sorry to There's actually some creepy camera angles. Like whenever when I think about this movie, it's like and that's the thing too. Like it's like because of the slow build up and because of like the atmosphere, some of the camera angles really stick in your mind, and they do become creepy. Like even like the ones
I think the keyhole one with Billy was really
a keyhole one, and the one I'm thinking of is where it's like he's holding the hook, and then he pushes it. Like that's it's a creepy shot because he's just like shaking his hands,
and like a lot of those point of view shots and sort of fisheye lens shots of some of the kills, almost like innovative in a way. For a horror movie.
It's cool because it captures it in a way where like you really get the sense of Billy being emotionally and mentally unstable because he almost seems like he regrets doing this, like in a way, like he like it's almost like it's something that this is all he knows.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that's a really cool like edge on it.
Yeah.
So,
I do think it is definitely something to check out for horror fans, especially like just even if it's once, just and you kind of maybe leave going, just not really caring about it. It's still just something to check out.
You at least watch something different and unique.
Yeah, it's to me like it has very great visuals that do like stick in your mind, and just yes, like there are parts that can be slow, but I think if you enjoy like 70s horror films like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw where there is that slow build up, it's fine. Like I get through the slow parts, but once you get to like the kills, it ramps up from there and it leads to a great ending, like just an all around just great ending.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think this is a really great and important pivotal moment in like horror history for this film. That being said, as good as I think it is and as amazing, and like I said, I don't mind the slow parts. The slow parts are actually really good story building. I don't think a lot of modern age horror fans would appreciate this movie as much as it should be.
Which is unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate because like it number one, it doesn't have jump scares. It actually relies on atmospheric tension as well as really strong character development in this movie to make you feel for like the sorority sisters as they're going through this time, to make you really not know who this person is, and when they reveal that it's literally a random person, like it's honestly, spoiler alert, it's honestly like really really terrifying because it feels like it could happen to anyone. And in that retrospect, like it's the psychological aspect of this movie that's truly terrifying. Against having something pop out at you in the screen and being like, oh wow, that startled me really quick. That's something that I find really wrong with a lot of modern horror, is that like it relies on that, and that's not fear. That is being suddenly startled for a brief moment and then that goes away. I like these movies that have these disturbing visuals that really get down to your core and you don't forget them. And this is definitely a movie that does that.
Yeah. It's like the fear of the unknown, which I don't think, just like the first Halloween maybe got that, but then like obviously afterwards we left it. But, and again, I don't know if I finished this, but like just with like slashers at the time, they all had a culprit. And sometimes it was rare enough it was a legitimate twist. Like you don't know who it. Like I really did not see that person coming. But then again with this one, because it's it's the unknown. That's what makes it realistic, and that's what makes it legitimately scary, in my opinion. But yeah, so 5 out of 5 sleigh bells.
Sleigh bells.
5 out of I think we should go by suffocated sorority girl heads.
Oh yeah.
The most
Son of
infamous.
Kids. Oh yeah, okay.
The most infamous kill in the entire movie.
And that's actually a thing that I just got to touch on real quick. Like, that shot is such a long, continuous shot that I remember watching that. No, not even, like, I'm talking about the initial kill.
Yeah,
with the bag over the head. You sit there and you're like, how did this actress survive this? Because it's done for... You see the dude put the bag on her head, and you stay in that one shot of the bag on her head for a good, 5 minutes. Yeah. And it's just mortifying.
Yeah.
There's genuine tension in this.
Like the actual the kills, these two gentlemen said, they're not gory at all, but they're still scary.
Yeah. They're very well done.
It's one thing I will not take away from this movie.
But
the kills aren't like Friday the 13th, where it's like, oh, dude, it's so awesome. It's like, oh, crap. Yeah. I'm afraid of everything in my house now.
Yeah. Friday
you will be afraid of cellophane for a good month and a half after seeing this.
Honestly, my mom had to go to the store and buy saran wrap, and I'm like, nope.
No. Billy's coming.
Billy who?
Billy Mason!
That'd be the greatest twist ever.
Oh, dude.
The greatest twist ever.
I would have preferred that in the remake. At least it would have made it a lot more enjoyable.
We've talked about, we keep mentioning the remake. I feel like Max really wants to talk about the remake.
I don't. Or I do, but I want to explain just how bad it is.
All right. Well, why don't we all just bite the bullet and just get it over with?
Oh, you gotta show them the trailer for the first one first.
Well, yeah, but
it's gonna be the trailer right
here. Yeah,
it's right there. It's right there. It's gonna come on.
It's gonna be right.
It's gonna be right there.
It's right there.
If you could actually get that effect.
No, that's what I was going for.
I'm not gonna be able to get
that
effect. My video editing skills are that of a 12-year-old.
Here's the effect.
A high school girl's been murdered. Mr. Harrison's daughter is missing. And now at the house where she lives, the other girls are getting obscene phone calls.
Yeah, what I've done is I've tapped this phone so that when it rings, it'll ring at the station house, too.
There was a little girl murdered over in the park tonight.
Yes, I heard.
Your phone's ringing.
Hello?
Hey, Mommy. There's a baby. Baby, all right, Mom. Just a minute.
Who's there?
I know you're there, now, baby. You answer me, Spirit. Mommy. Come here.
Where's Agnes?
You won't.
What are you doing?
This is Graham. It's group 140, terminal 55.
Remember those idyllic scenes out of your childhood? Crisp winter nights, star bright, sleigh bells, crackling Yule logs, candlelight glistening off of shimmering Christmas trees, chestnuts roasting over open fires, carolers beneath snow-covered window ledges. Remember those. Remember them well. After Black Christmas, they'll never be the same again. Black Christmas, starring Olivia Hussey, Keir Dullea, Margot Kidder, and starring John Saxon as Lieutenant Fuller. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.